Hello everybody, Jennifer Maker here. It's a beautiful day to make some greeting cards with beautiful decorative edges. These are as easy as they are pretty, and I can't wait to show you how you can make your own custom version. Cards are a favorite of many paper crafters, and for good reasons. They're usually simple, easy, and very affordable to make. And in my opinion, they beat a store-bought card every time. Who doesn't love to receive a homemade card, right? Now, there are thousands of card designs out there, but I'm always on the hunt for fun new card making techniques. And aren't these side edge cards just so pretty? The edge follows the shape of the elements that you place on the right side of the card, which is a neat twist on a regular rectangular card, in my opinion. But the big question is, how do we do it? And how do we make the back edge cut perfectly lined up with the front? I will show you how in this video. To get started, this project only needs a few materials and tools. First, you'll need some quality cardstock. I'm using both multicolored and glitter cardstock today, but you can use any kind, including things like foil. You'll also want a way to cut your cardstock. You can cut the layers of paper by hand, of course, but it's a lot easier with a cutting machine like a Cricut. I'm using the Cricut Maker 3, but you can also use the original Cricut Maker, a Cricut Explorer series machine, the Cricut Venture, or even the Cricut Joy Extra for this project. Or another machine that uses cut files works as well. Along with your cutting machine, you'll need a green standard grip machine mat, a brayer, and a spatula for removing more delicate pieces. It's also handy to have a scraper, a weeding tool, and some tweezers. I'll share why later. So I'll show you how to make no score versions of the cards using dash cut lines instead of score lines. But if you'd like to use the score version of the file, you can use an optional scoring stylus or a scoring wheel. Again, totally optional. If you need help setting your score lines, see my tutorial at jennifermaker.com/Cricut scoring. Now, to attach your pieces to your card base, you will need some good quality craft glue like Bearly Art Precision Craft Glue. This is my favorite. I'll also use some adhesive foam squares to attach some of my elements for a fun 3D effect. Now, I've got a full list of the tools and supplies, plus links on where to find them in my materials list. It's in my blog post at jennifermaker.com/564. So, are you ready to get started? Let me show you where to get my free files, and then we will put these cards together. Step 1, get my free side edge card designs. First, download my free card designs at jennifermaker.com/564. You can either download right from that link by saving the project, or download from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, and then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 564 and click the link to download the designs. There are 4 designs in the folder: butterflies, leaves, a peacock, and snowflake cards. There are score and no score versions of each design. You can use my PDF files to cut these designs by hand, but I'll use a Cricut Maker 3 cutting machine in this video to cut my pieces. You can also use an original Maker, any Explorer series machine, the Cricut Venture, the Cricut Joy Extra, or another machine that uses SVG or DXF cut files. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to prepare and assemble the No Score Snowflakes card in Cricut Design Space. But you can follow along these steps to make the other card designs too. Later on, I'll show you how to make a custom card where you design the edges. Project number 1, Snowflakes Side Edge Card. Step 2, prepare your card design. In Cricut Design Space, on a blank canvas, click Upload and then Upload Image. Click Browse and find the Snowflake Card SVG file with no score in its name. Click Upload and then select the new design under Recent Uploads and click Add to Canvas. With the design selected, click the Ungroup icon. The Snowflakes design has 2 layers for the card base: a teal front layer and an optional white back layer for easier writing on the inside. If you'd like to remove the extra white layer, select it in the Layers panel and click the Delete icon. I want the white layer though, so I'll leave it alone. And that's all we need to do. The layers are ready to cut. Make sure the correct machine is selected and click Make. On the Prepare screen, you should have 4 mats. One white, one gray, one dark teal, and one light teal mat, both of which I'll cut from 2 shades of 65-pound cardstock. Be sure to change the material size to match each paper you're using. Then select the first mat and click Continue. I'll cut my white mat from plain white 65-pound cardstock, so I'll select the medium cardstock setting with more pressure for a cleaner cut. On the gray mat, I'll use white glitter cardstock, so I'll select the glitter cardstock setting for that one, also with more pressure. Continue setting your base materials and pressure to more for the last 2 mats. Place your cardstock face up on a green standard grip machine mat, then use a brayer to make sure it's fully and evenly adhered. This will result in the cleanest cut. With your fine point blade clean and in the clamp, load your mat into your Cricut and press the flashing button to begin cutting. When it has finished cutting, unload the mat, flip it over onto your work surface, and roll the mat back to release the paper. Use a spatula to carefully remove any intricate parts so they don't tear, and a weeding tool to pop out any small pieces. Or you can cut the sentiment from permanent vinyl and transfer it to the cardstock. See our tutorial for tips on how to do this. If you're using any specialty or patterned cardstock, place your paper on the mat pretty side up. Continue on to cut and remove your remaining pieces. Here are what my cut pieces for the snowflake side edge card look like. Step 3. Assemble your snowflakes card. Make sure that the snowflake cutouts are on the front of the card base, then fold it in half along the dashed or scored lines. Run a scraper tool down the crease to make it nice and sharp. Then fold the white liner piece the same way. Place the white piece inside the teal card and line up their edges. Fold both pieces closed, making sure the folds are aligned and the liner is nestled snugly into the inside of the card. Make sure no white can be seen around the edges of the card when viewing it from the outside. Place the closed card face down on your work surface. Without fully opening the card, lift up the white liner from the front side and apply thin lines of glue to the open areas of the teal card underneath. Avoid the cutouts, but make sure to add glue to the very edges. Close the card and press down against the glued area. Now flip the card face up and apply glue to the other half of the teal piece. Press the layers together so the white liner is fully attached to the teal piece. Make sure the card folds nicely and doesn't bunch up or wrinkle near the fold. If any glue seeps out of the edges or inside the card, wipe it away quickly so the card doesn't get glued closed. Now grab 2 of the larger snowflakes. Add a small amount of glue to the back side of one and attach it to the front of the card, aligning 2 of the snowflake's arms with the 2 bumps in between the snowflake cutouts. Attach the other snowflake the same way, between the middle and bottom snowflake cutouts. Now grab the pieces for the sentiment. There's a big white glitter snowflake, a smaller light teal glitter snowflake, a white circle, and a Happy Holidays piece. Add glue to the large open area on the back of the light teal snowflake circle. Then apply a small glue dot on the back tip of each snowflake arm. Center the teal snowflake over the white back piece and line up the snowflake arms. Press the teal piece down onto the white piece to attach it. Now add glue to the back of the white circle and attach it to the center of the teal snowflake. Finally, carefully add tiny lines and dots of glue to the back of the Happy Holidays sentiment. Tweezers can help you attach to the center of the white circle, but be careful not to rip or bend the delicate letters and wipe away any excess glue before it dries. Now attach 4 foam adhesive squares to the back of the assembled sentiment piece, spacing them evenly around the outside edge. Then center the sentiment snowflake on the front of the card and press it down to adhere it. Attach a foam adhesive square to the back of each of the remaining snowflakes, then add them to the front of the card wherever you like. Project number 2, Customized Leaves Side Edge Card. Now let's make a custom card with edges that we design ourselves. I'll show you how using elements from the no-score version of the Leaves Side Edge card. With the design selected, click Ungroup. Select and move any elements that you'd like to use on your custom card off to the side. I'll choose these leaves, the sentiment, and the 2 circular backing pieces. Now drag a bounding box around the card and other remaining pieces and click Group. With the group still selected, click the eye icon next to the group in the Layers panel to hide it, or the Delete icon at the top of the panel to delete it. Then hide the sentiment and the orange and red circles using the eye icons in the Layers panel. Click the Shapes menu and select the square. With the square selected and the lock icon open, type 5 into the width field and 7 into the height field. This is the base piece for the front of our 5 by 7 inch greeting card. Now click the color box and change its color to white. Click Arrange and send to back so it will be behind the elements. Arrange your chosen elements along the right edge of your rectangle. Keep them within the rectangle itself with nothing extending past the edges. Duplicate, resize, and rotate your leaves to decorate along the right edge of the rectangle. Make sure they'll all fit within the rectangle. Don't forget to leave some space on the left half of the rectangle for adding a greeting if you'd like. Hold Shift on your keyboard and select all of your arranged elements from the Layers panel, and then click Offset. Check the Weld Offsets box, if it's not already checked, to make the offset a single shape. Move the distance slider to find a good size for your offset. The offset shapes of each of your elements should slightly overlap each other. Let's try 0.125. Lastly, select your corner style and click Apply. Your offset will turn black, but don't worry. Select all of your elements and the offset layer you just created, but not the card base. With the lock icon closed, change their combined height to slightly taller than that of your card. About 7.07 inches tall worked for mine. With your elements and offsets still selected, click the group icon. Select the group and your card base layer and click Align and Align Right. Now, without deselecting anything, click Align and Center vertically. With the shapes and offsets still selected, click Ungroup. Now use the eye icons in the Layers panel to hide each of the leaf elements, leaving just the card base and offset shape showing on the canvas. In your offset layer, you may notice some spaces between the original shapes. Let's fix that. With the offset shape selected, click the contour icon. Click Hide All Contours to remove any inner cutouts from the offset shape, then click the X to close the Hide Contour window. To avoid needing to contour next time, try increasing your offset to close up the gaps between the shapes. Select the offset shape and the card base layer and click the Slice icon at the bottom of the Layers panel. Now, without moving anything on the canvas, delete the extra pieces and the duplicate offset shape layer from the Layers panel. You should be left with just one black offset shape slice result layer and one rectangle shaped slice result layer. Select the white rectangle layer and click Contour. Click on the pieces to the right of your offset shape to hide them. Then click the X to close the pop-up. Finally, select both the offset shape and the card layer, then click Combine and Weld. You should be left with a single 5 by 7 inch shape with a straight edge on the left and a shaped edge on the right. Click the shape and click Arrange and Send to Back. Now click the eye icons in the Layers panel to show your card elements again. See how the edges of the card now follow the shape of the leaves? Drag a bounding box around the card base and leaves and drag it over to the right side of the canvas. Select the card base and click Duplicate. With the duplicated layer selected, click Flip and then flip horizontal. Select both card halves and click Align and Align Top. Hold your Shift key down and move the duplicated card half to the right, so both halves very slightly overlap each other in the center. Hold Shift and select both card halves. Their combined size will pop up. Check that their combined width is slightly less than 10 inches. Great, mine is good to go. If the width is more than 10 inches, click the left half and use your right arrow key to nudge it over just to the right a little bit more. Then check again that the total width is slightly under 10 inches. Perfect. Now with both halves selected, click Combine and choose Weld. Click the Shapes menu and select the score line. With the line selected, resize it to the height of the card by typing 7 into the height field and then press Enter. Select the score line and the card base and click Align and then Center. Your card halves may move, and that's okay. With the score line and card layer still selected, click Attach. Select the attached score line and card base, then click Arrange and Send to Back. Drag it into place with your leaves to see how it will look. You can add a sentiment in the open space on the front of the card if you'd like, or unhide and use the Just Because sentiment and the orange and red circles from the original SVG file. Select the sentiment group and the two circle shapes and click Align, then Center to see how they'll look. The Just Because sentiment is meant to be a print then cut piece, so it needs to be flattened before we can cut it. With just the sentiment group selected, not the other two circles, click Flatten. And once you're happy with how everything looks, click Make. If you added a print then cut sentiment to the front of your card, that mat will be first. Choose the highest quality print settings and print your sentiment on 65-pound white cardstock. Then place it on your mat and follow the prompts to cut. Then load and cut your sentiment and the rest of your card pieces. Take note when removing your smaller pieces from the mat, as the leaves are very delicate. Use a spatula to help lift those more intricate pieces so they don't tear. You can use your scraper to remove the cardstock bits left behind on your mat. Now we're ready to put everything together. Step 3. Assemble your custom leaves side edge card. Lay your base piece on your work surface in the same orientation as it came off the mat. Use your Cricut Design Space screen for reference. Match up the edges of the leaves with the corresponding offset shapes on the right edge of the card. Again, use Design Spacer for reference if you need to. Now add a few dots of glue to the back edges and center of each leaf piece, and adhere them to their spots on the right edge of the card. Add some glue to the back of the printed sentiment circle and attach it to the center of the red circle. Add 4 evenly spaced foam adhesive squares to the back of the red circle, and then attach it to the center of the orange circle. Add 4 foam adhesive squares to the back of the orange circle, and then attach it to the front center of the card. Finally, let's fold the card. Take the card base piece and flip it over so it's face down. Fold the left side over the right, then use a scraper for a nice sharp crease. Step 4. Show it off. Here's what my finished side edge cards look like. Now you can give them to friends or family members to brighten their day. I just love how these turned out. Making cards at home is such an easy and rewarding way to paper craft. And it's a great feeling to cheer up someone's day with a little something that you made just for them. I hope you have fun making and gifting these cards too. To send your card through the mail, you can even make a DIY envelope. Just follow my easy tutorial at jennifermaker.com/373. If you didn't resize the card, the A7 size envelope fits great. And remember, there are 2 more designs in the collection for you. The butterflies and the peacock cards use the same steps as the others, and there are some reference photos in the tutorial on my blog post over at jennifermaker.com/564. Now, if you have any questions about working with cardstock, your Cricut machine, or anything else Cricut or craft related that I might be able to help you with, please let me know. You can leave your question below this video or ask over at our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters. And please share photos of your beautiful cards. I would love to see them. Plus, your photos inspire others to create them too. And that's an awesome thing. And that's it for today. Until tomorrow, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.